Hi, freshmen. It's Mrs. Alt. I am here today to help you start choosing classes for your sophomore year. It takes about 6 months to build your schedule. That's why we're starting so quick. So I will try to get through this as quickly as I can, and you'll have the rest of the class period to work today. If you are not in the Google Classroom for your class, this is the code. We do have a freshman Google Classroom through the College and Career Resource Center, and that's how Mr. Harm and I get information to you about course selection, testing, scholarships, college visitors, all that good stuff. So please join our Google Classroom if you're not there already, and please turn on your notifications. Our objectives for today are to make sure you know the deadlines for getting your courses selected for next year. We want to make sure you know how to use the program of studies, which is that big book with all the classes in it. And you did get a hard copy when you were in 8th grade. So last year, and that's the only hard copy you'll ever get, you will use it online today and from now on. We want to make sure you know what classes you need to graduate from high school and get into college, and understand how to select your courses in Skyward. This is your guys' first time doing this, but you will select your courses in Skyward, and then you will meet with your counselor later to go over them. So it is not on paper. First, I want to make sure you know that your courses have to be selected in Skyward by November 20th. It's a Friday at 5 p.m. This also says Lake County Tech apps, but you will not be able to go to Lake County Tech campus until junior or senior year if you choose to, so you can ignore that. Also, you will have an individual meeting with your counselor sometime between November 23rd and December 11th. You will get a Zoom link that tells you when that meeting is going to be, and we will meet with you and go over the classes you picked in Skyward and make corrections with you. Make sure the classes meet your college or career goals. Okay, so for this presentation, make sure you have access to the program of studies. I believe your teacher has put it in the English Google Classroom. You may not be able to look at it right now during this presentation, but afterwards, when you have time to work, you will. Also, the sophomore course sheet, which is a worksheet to help you select classes for next year. And you should have a copy of Skyward directions. Okay, so in order to see the program of studies after this class, you can go to the JHS website, go to school information, and click on counseling/CCRC. And then the program of studies will be over here, but it's the 2021-22 program of study that you're going to use for next year. We are required to go over the requirements for graduation with you once a year, so we always do it when you are choosing classes. We do require 23 credits to graduate. 17 of those credits have to come from this chart. So in order to graduate at the end of senior year, you should pass 4 credits of English, which is English every semester that you're in high school. You must pass 3 years of math, including 1 year of Algebra 1 and 1 year of geometry. You have to have 2 years of science to graduate, but a lot of 4-year colleges want you to take 3 years of science, so we usually recommend you take 3 if you're college bound. You must pass 2.5 years of social studies. Out of that 2.5, 1 has to be U.S. history, which you'll actually take next year. And then you have to have a half year of government. Also, a lot of colleges require 3 credits of social studies. So when you're a junior or a senior, we may recommend that you take extra. Also, you need to take PE or weight training every semester that you are in high school, except for the half year of health. That is your only semester out of PE or weight training. Also, consumer ed is a half year class that you will take as a senior. And then also at least 1 year of electives. A lot of colleges require 2 or more years of foreign language. Some may not require that, but a lot of them do, especially like U of I or those big schools. They typically want 3 to 4 years. I know the University of Wisconsin wants 4, and depending on what major you want, the University of Illinois likes to see 3 or 4. You will also do a FAFSA when you are a senior. That's the financial aid application for college, but we will talk about that a lot later in your high school career. Also, you have to take an SAT when you're a junior, and that would complete the graduation requirements. Okay, so this is a worksheet that you'll use at the end of today when you're working, but it kind of helps guide you as to what classes to pick. And then once your classes are picked, it's easier to upload them into Skyward. So I will talk about that in just a little bit. This is a page in the program of study that can help you each year decide maybe what classes you need by subject. So every year you can kind of look at that, and I think it's on page 11 in the new program of studies. Also in the program of studies, you'll see the adding and dropping courses policy. You're always welcome to look at that in more detail. I believe it is still on page 12 in the new book, but it does kind of summarize how you're able to make schedule changes. It's not that easy. Once we get to spring break this year, after that, you will not be able to make any more schedule changes for next year. And usually you have the first 15 days or 10 days of a semester to drop a class for a study hall. But yeah, it's really hard to change classes once you choose them. Also, if you are good at a sport and you might want to play a sport in college, the NCAA does have certain GPA requirements you have to meet, certain classes that you have to take in high school, and certain test scores. So that is all on page 13 through 16. So if you are considering sports in college, make sure you look over these pages. This tells you exactly what you have to take in high school, what GPA you need, and what test scores you need. So Mr. Harm and I will actually ask you about that when you have your individual meeting. Also, we want to make sure students understand that we have a pass no credit policy. It is in the program of study if you want to look at it more closely. I believe it's on page 18 and 19 in the new book, but it's still the same as the policy from last year. But you can take classes on a pass no credit basis once in a while. And you may think, what's the point of that? Usually, if a student has a really high grade point average, like maybe they've never gotten a B, they could have a GPA of like 4.4, but there's a 4.0 elective that they really want to take, but they know if they get an A in that class, it'll actually bring their GPA down. They might want to take that class for credit, but not a letter grade. So they would get a pass or a no credit on their transcript. So you do have to file for pass no credit in the first 15 days of a semester in the counseling office. We also have that option where you can get an A or a B if you get an A or a B. But if you get a C or a D, you get a pass. And if you fail the class, you get a no credit. That's usually if a student is worried about a certain class maybe being too difficult, but they want to try it anyway. So please look more closely at those policies. Okay, this is something that you don't really have to worry about yet, but when you get older, when you're a junior and or a senior, you can start taking classes at McHenry County College, and they can count for high school and college credit at the same time. It's called Running Start High School Plus. Um, it's very expensive. That's the only reason a lot of kids don't do it. You do have to pay your tuition, and you have to get yourself to MCC if you take the class. Now, if you do it online through MCC, then you don't have to travel there, but you can always take a night class or something if you want to go over there. Also, we have the Illinois Virtual School option, which is online classes. If you ever want to take something in the summer, or if they offer a class that we don't offer that you would really like to take. So you just have to talk to your counselor about this stuff. Also, I think this is page 17. It just summarizes that MCC program a little bit more. And then on pages, let's see, I think it's 23, 24, it's got some summaries of what some of the state schools require you to take in high school in order to get in. So, for example, if you look at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, they want you to take 4 years of English in high school, 2 social studies, 3 or 3.5 math, 2 sciences, and then at least 2 years of a foreign language. And then in the back of the book, starting on page 60, going through 63, there is a chart that shows every class we offer in the high school and what grade level can take it, what the grade weight is, and if it's 0.5 credits or 1 credit. 1 means it's a year-long class. Half credit means it's a semester class. So that might help you. Also, there are course descriptions in the back of the book. I advise you to never select a course if you have not read the course description, because we don't want you to get stuck in a class that you don't like. Okay. Also, like I said, you can work on putting classes in Skyward until November 20th. And then in January, depending on how your semester 1 grades turn out, your teachers will either approve the classes that you've chosen or deny some of them. So Mr. Harm and I are going to make you, help make sure you pick the best classes possible, and then the teachers will follow up and approve them after semester 1 is over. So I'm going to show you how you will plug your classes into Skyward once you've worked on the worksheet. So I'm going to show you that first, and then I'm going to show you an example of a completed worksheet, and then we're actually going to take time to work. So once you're ready to plug your classes into Skyward, which you can try to do this with me if your internet can handle going to Skyward and staying on the presentation, but you're going to log into Skyward, and then you are going to click on Schedule over on the left side. So I will give you a second if there are any students that are trying to follow along with this. And then once you click on Schedule, you should see what's right here, Request Courses. It should say for the 21-22 school year, or the 21-22 at Johnsburg High School, whatever it says. Make sure you click on that. So I'm going to give you just a second. And once you click on that, you should have classes on the left side, and then you're probably not going to have any classes on the right side yet. The right side is going to be the classes that you select. So what you do is on the left side, you find the class that you want to take, you click on it, and you hit Add. Oops. And it's going to move over to the right, which let me go back. Okay, so if it's a year-long class, you do have to manually do semester 1 and then do semester 2. Then if you change your mind about any classes, you can just click on them and hit remove. And there is no save button, so you can just log out when you're done. And then when your counselor meets with you individually, it's the classes on this side that we're going to look at. Okay. So here's an example of a completed worksheet before a student went in and started selecting courses. Okay, so if you don't mind, you can get out your worksheet. I think your teacher has it where you can print it, but you don't have to print it. You can just use notebook paper. It just is really helpful to see this before you start plugging them in. So, of course, you would do your English 2, semester 1 and 2, either regular or honors. Then you would do whatever math class it is you think you want to do. So if you're currently in Algebra 1, you would be going to Geometry. If you're currently in Geometry, you'll be going to Algebra 2. And then if you're in honors, obviously you'd go to the honors levels. If you're in Algebra 2 or Honors Algebra 2 right now, you'll either be going into Honors Pre-Calc or regular Pre-Calc. Okay. Then the PE and the driver ed. A lot of you probably have driver ed right now in quarter 3 or 4. But if you're one of the younger kids in the class, your birthday might fall into the quarter 1 or quarter 2 for next year. So the example I did is if your birthday falls between these 2 dates, you would be typing in driver ed quarter 1 and then PE or weight training quarter 2. So this is the only time you use quarters for the PE classes. The driver ed will count as a PE credit for your graduation. So then you could put in PE or weight training semester 2. Now, if you don't need driver ed, you're just going to do semester 1 of whatever gym class you want. Then you can do your science. If you are currently in biology and you're doing well, you're college bound, you could do chemistry semester 1 or 2. There's also honors level. If you're in physical science, you can go to biology. So yeah, those will be your science choices. And I don't expect you to keep up with me on this. I'm just walking you through it before you do it. Social studies, you will take U.S. history semester 1 and 2 unless your teacher has talked to you about taking AP U.S. history, which AP stands for Advanced Placement. That is the harder class where you're taking the test at the end to see if you can get college credit. So if you are a student who has been advised to put off U.S. history until junior year so you can take the AP class, you can take social studies electives such as psychology, sociology, economics, American issues. Just make sure you talk to your social studies teacher to see what they think would be best for you. Then you basically have 2 spots for electives. Now, if you decide you want to take a study hall, you don't put anything in Skyward for the study hall. So what we're going to do right now is you're going to start writing out your class choices on either notebook paper or this sheet, if you happen to have it. I'm going to stay in your class meeting with you and help you out. So you can send me a chat if you have a question. And like I said, you will get a Zoom invite eventually to meet with your counselor individually to go over these things. And you should have the Skyward directions on how to put these classes in once you've selected them. So I will be here and I wish you luck and just chat me whatever questions you have. Okay? Thank you.